It is day 2 for us here at the G20. The water cannons are already out. So the world leaders have not yet arrived, but 2 particularly interesting people. First, Erdogan. You know who that guy is. He's from Turkey, right? He's the president over there. We can expect to see some protests for him, but nothing compared to what we'll probably see when Donald Trump arrives in the coming days. So right now he's in Poland, but then he's going to come down here, and there's already a ton of protesters. We've seen tens of thousands of protesters already. And now we're at a protest that's starting in just a few minutes, and there's already what looks like at least 1,000 people or so.
Denise explained it to me was a lot of obsession with this motto.
Which one, Antifa?
Everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a very anti-capitalist motto.
Oh yeah.
So that's what it was explained to me by the locals.
So people are posting pictures of all of us. This one's my favorite one. It says, "Since when is TIMCAST an identitarian?" Because I am not. Well, we're not at the protest anymore. I was able to get a bunch of B-roll shots and check out some of what was going on. But something interesting happened. A journalist saw Lauren Southern and took a photo of her, and I was in the photo, and Luke was in the photo, and Max here was in the photo. And what ended up happening was this person claimed we were all identitarians. You know, these are kind of like the white nationalist people, like Richard Spencer calls himself an identitarian. And so people started sharing our photos accusing us of being fascists, which is absolutely not true. As many of you know, I'm like center-left libertarian, and I'm also mixed race, so I'm certainly not a white nationalist, not in the least bit. Quite the opposite, actually. But apparently that doesn't matter because the people down there were posting our locations. Someone tweeted out that me and a few other people were sitting at a cafe, and so ultimately, we had a discussion about it. I felt like, being down there for this protest wasn't worth it because of just the danger, and I felt like I could do more with an interview if I just found some people and learned about what was actually going on at the G20, so I left. But after I left, something happened, and this is what we're going to talk to Max here about. So you stayed at the protest, and do you want to just tell me what happened?
Well, first of the identitarians, I think you could compare them to the alt-right in America. It's a pretty, from the ideology, it's pretty identical, I think. And so, yeah, we were walking across the protest. We were not expecting anything bad, really, because the Lauren, the girl we were in the photo with, she wasn't with us anymore. And so what ended up happening was that one journalist from America, who really has no political, he doesn't even have an own channel, right?
No, yeah.
So.
You were with this American journalist.
Yeah, I was with him and another woman, and so he got beat up suddenly, and
you were just standing there and you watched him get beat up.
Yeah, well, not. He got a couple of punches on his face. His glasses fell down, and he ended up kneeling and saying like, "I'm American. I'm not a fascist," and stuff like that. Stop beating me up. And they took his camera and everything, but yeah. So then they escorted us out, they being the guys who attacked us, saying we shouldn't come back. In the end, we decided to come back, and that might have been a mistake. So the very same people saw us again, and then they beat us up again.
So you got beat up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got, can I see the bandages on your...
Yeah. Yes.
So your knee is just, that's a lot of blood.
Yeah, well, that's no blood. It's actually the kind of paste
Oh, okay. They
paste
put.
that they put down. But,
Were you bleeding though? Because you've got the bandages on your elbow.
Yeah, sure.
And then they put like ointment on your saying.
Yeah. Well, I went to a police medical aid, I think, and they helped me and made the.
So here's the important question: You're German.
Mm-hmm.
This journalist tweeted out 4 non-German identitarians.
Yeah, he had no clue who I was. So. Yeah.
But you don't know who Lauren is. You like I've met you one time before, and we saw you, and you were just walking near us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think in the photo that they posted, literally it was just like walking down a sidewalk, and you happened to be walking next to me. Lauren's actually behind you, but it didn't matter. You were in the photo, so they ended up beating you up. And then I guess why did they beat up this American journalist who wasn't even in the photo?
I think they may have mistaken him for someone else, but I mean he was. Not really. I mean, you can't say with us. I mean, we are a bunch of guys. I've seen you one time. I've seen Luke maybe 3 or 4 times. We worked in Bilderberg, for example, and that's where I met Lauren one time before, and not really meet. I mean, just you are Lauren, and that's basically it. So I'm not really with you guys. I'm exactly. In Germany, and you're in America or South Korea or somewhere else. And
but this is the important thing that I want to say about like why are we near Lauren Southern? There are a group of people that are often at the same events like the G20, and one of the reasons you'll see me and Luke around so often is that we cover the same things. And there are several other journalists. I don't want to give out their names because of the security risk that we're seeing now. But we see each other around all the time. Often, a lot of these people are at press clubs. And so we'll be like, oh, hey. And then we'll end up walking by each other, not because we're friends or we agree or disagree, but simply because we're journalists in the same place.
And also exchange experience and stuff.
And information.
Especially you wanted, like, you were showing me tweets, like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I could give you some insight on stuff that people were tweeting in German. So it's normal that journalists are working together. I mean, you see it in the, we went to that one cafe, and there was a bunch of journalists staying around there, and so it's a normal thing that people work together when they are in the same.
And the thing is, for like Lauren Southern, who has done a lot of activisty things, and she's definitely right aligned. I mean, what do these people expect either of us to do if we're standing by her or talking to her? Do they think that we're supposed to? I mean, no, like seriously, do they think we're supposed to walk up to anybody who we might disagree with and just tell them to fuck off? Like, oh no, I know that you've done things, or are we gonna be like, I'm not trying to get into a fight with anybody. Like, so that the challenge becomes, which side do you piss off, I guess, right? Because if you go to the Antifa people and you're like, hey, I'll be friends with you, then the people on the right are going to be like, screw you. And if you go to someone like Lauren and say, get away from me, you identitarian, then you're it's really like these Antifa people, it's like the only choice you have is to piss someone off, and they get pissed off really easily. And I think what's important here, like the main reason I want to talk to you is that you're German, you live in Germany, you're a journalist, you cover all sides, you don't really, take a stance when you do your reporting, and you were just caught in this photograph.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I remember we were walking up, and I just saw you standing there by yourself looking around, and we walked past you, and this guy came up and snapped this photo, and you ended up getting attacked because of it. So I mean, what do you think now, man? Are you like, what's your plan? What do you think?
Well, I'm leaving because I can't walk like I walk usually. It's not an ideal case for me to stay here and still cover the protests. And also, I mean, we had people follow us, and they made it clear that they don't want us at any protests anymore, even in this town. And so I'm not picking any fights with them anymore. So I'm going to leave because I'm not really interested in G20 at all, because I have little experience as a journalist, I have to say, and I actually just came down to see if something riot-like happens and just get the experience, and well, now I got the experience.
Yeah. All right, man. Any other final thoughts or anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Well, not really.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking, and I hope you heal up just fine. I hope you stay safe. So I don't know what the plan is now, where I'm going to go, but there's some Europe stuff ahead of, there's more stories in Europe that I had lined up, but I think the safe bet is to leave. So kind of, I'll take a back step real quick and just say, once things started getting really bad on the ground, I decided to split. And I thought, like, going into a riot and getting my cameras destroyed or getting attacked because these people are sharing my photos, it's probably not worth it. Especially when, for one thing, there are a ton of journalists already on the ground live streaming and covering this water cannon, police fighting. And the reality is, I don't think riot porn is substantive. I don't think it enlightens anybody or helps us better understand the world. And when it comes to the G20, I found that a lot of people are simply anti-capitalist, and so there's not really a whole lot of nuance to the protest here. And so I felt, what, with the risk and what's going on, I think it's time to get out of here. And then sure enough, we hear that people like Max get attacked, who's just a journalist, and it's just crazy. This isn't the first time a journalist has been attacked by black bloc anarchists or Antifa, and it certainly won't be the last, but it's just disappointing. It's disappointing. So I'm looking at some more Europe-based stories, and while I'm here, I'll check out some other cities, but thank you all so much for watching. If you want to support the work that I do, you can go to patreon.com/TIMCAST to give whatever you can or give nothing at all. My videos will always be free and available. Comment below. Let me know what you think about all this. It's kind of a bummer. I don't want to call this, a victory for violence or anything like that. But when innocent bystanders, when journalists who just happen to get caught in a photograph are being beaten up, these people really don't care if they're right or wrong. They just want to, it's almost like an emotional satisfaction. If you're mad at me, if you don't like the work that I do and you get angered by it, I understand why you're angry. I say, oh, okay, this person doesn't like me personally. But to just go and beat up a journalist because they happen to have been in a photo is absolutely ridiculous. So, that's my thought on the matter, I guess. You can follow me on Twitter @TIMCAST. Stay tuned. I'm going to figure out where I'm going, but I'll have a new video up for you at 4 p.m. tomorrow, and I'll see y'all then.